You guys miss me? Yeah, it's been like 2 weeks since I last uploaded, but it's finally time I update you guys about my whereabouts. The date is November 15th. It is 5:37 p.m. as of this recording. And let me tell you, I got a lot of big news to tell you guys. So, if you've been keeping up with my community posts, then you may have been made aware that I'm having roommate issues again. What a shocker. Basically, my roommate, he goes by the name of Samit, and he has been deplorable to live with. He has done several things which are inexcusable, and any sort of confrontation to try and mediate any conflict or try to, discuss any sort of normal topics have all failed and led to him being offended, mad, judgmental, and manipulative altogether. And with that, I was left with no choice but to try to vacate the apartment as soon as possible. Now, the original plan was to cancel the lease that I signed for living in the apartment. But the thing is, not only would I have to find a replacement to replace my spot in the apartment, it was also really expensive. If I was able to find a replacement myself, it would cost at least $100. And that's assuming if I even find a replacement in the first place. Basically, the plan was just that next semester I was gonna move to in-campus housing rather than staying around that property. But as I already said, it is extremely difficult to complete the process. And it's also, well, financially really harsh. So I really wanted to find if there was an easier method, but it really didn't seem like it. That was until really recently though, where I did a lot more deeper research into what my roommate has done. I won't get into the specifics about it, but let me just tell you right now, in terms of judiciary research, my roommate has done a lot of misdemeanor and summary offensive charges. Like, some of the stuff that he has done in the past to me and the other people can be considered like summary offenses, this misdemeanor charge worthy. If I reported this to authorities, then he would be like fined or put on probation if possible. So I sent the property manager a lengthy email detailing the whole fiasco of events that he has done, just a whole concise timeline and what section of the lease he's violating and what possible charges he could face. They got back to me saying that there are 2 apartments that have an open spot for me to move, and that not only would it cost $500 less than canceling the lease, the movement process is a lot simpler. Guys, I've never been this happy to learn about a more feasible option in my life. This just basically throws away the entire original plan that was really hard, and now I could do this, which is a lot more simpler. Oh my god, the amount of joy I had when I figured out that this was a possible option, I was ecstatic. So yeah, now once Thanksgiving break hits, I'm gonna be gone. I'm not gonna stay in that same apartment anymore. I'm gonna meet with hopefully more chill and more nicer roommates. That being said, there is one more thing I want to show you. There is a older recording from November 6th in this same parking lot talking about the original plan. Canceling the lease, applying for in-campus housing, and then the rest of the video is just a big old fuck you expose to my roommate. I'm going to play it out, albeit like slightly edited, just so things can be more clarified, and I'll let you guys know once I move into that new roommate or that new apartment. Uploads might start coming out again, maybe. I genuinely mean it. It actually means that much to me to know that this is a possible option. So with all of that out of the way, this update is done. Thank you guys so much for the support. I know all of you guys, which includes my parents, IRLs that I've told this to, and all of my online friends that I've shared this story to, have been really mad at this guy in one way or another. So it's finally nice to get some justice laid out to him. Now I'm gonna cue in the video from November 6th. See you guys. This is a personal video to my roommate, Samit. Samit, no more chances. The time of this recording is 8:03 p.m. on November 6, 2025. By the time this video is published, you're probably, staying inside of the apartment that we lived in, just enjoying your Christmas vacation. However, as for me, well, notice that I used lived past tense. Because by the time the next semester starts, which is somewhere in January, I will be gone. I have requested the housing to put me into instead, and it is currently waiting for approval. So let's just get things straight, okay? There's a reason why I am doing this. Samit, you need to control yourself. I've spoken to people that you are close with, and I have learned so much more about your character. And I've looked back at the actions that you have done in the past. It all checks out. You are just a neglectful, evil person. You are very malicious, yet naive. You don't even realize that what you're doing is really bad. Or maybe you do, but you're trying to play it off as if you're innocent and you didn't know. Well, I'll read you off the list of charges and see whether or not these are purposeful or not. Samit, you are egregiously, stupendously morally wrong. All those times where I was trying to have a conversation with you about certain things, you just chose to either ignore it or try to fight back. The things about the smoke alarm and the things about the noise complaints, now I know it makes sense, because your character is all based on winning or losing. You're super competitive on any sort of conversation that we have. It doesn't even matter what it's about. You just care about winning the argument or losing it. If you win it, you start gaining self-esteem and you start feeling good about yourself, even if it means making the other opponent feel really mentally bad about themselves. If you lose it, you start going rogue and your anger issues kick in and you start getting really pissed off for no other good reason. Please take the time to get some mental help so that that can be prevented. Please. You have no knowledge about any sort of safety precautions. The smoke alarm thing that could have caused a fire, you were just laughing it off as if it was another Wednesday night. Please think about that for a second, please. Because you don't even need any knowledge or any sort of basic morals to realize that people dying is not good. You're a misogynistic little loser. You hypersexualize women to the point where all the reasons that you want to have a girl with you is just nothing but to fuck them. You're always talking about ABGs and snow bunnies to the point where you can't even think of women as people, but instead sexual objects for your own pleasure. You're an extremely red-pilled anti-Semitic to the point where you took the Palestine-Israeli conflict and taken it the wrong way. And you're starting to stereotype every single Jew inside of in the world for no good reason. You judge people for no reason at all as well. You don't just go up to people and start judging them because of what they do, of their hobbies. You can't just call random people fat, lazy, anything like that, just because they don't do the same things that you do, such as going to the gym and all that. Who cares? You shouldn't care about other people's issues or looks or appearances at all. You should only care about yourself. And you should look at other people as acquaintances and supporters. Speaking of which, Samit, you are so hypocritical as well. You always talk about going to the gym all the time. I don't see that at all. You mostly just mope around in your room. I myself have deliberately stated that I don't go to the gym all that often, which is true. You've seen this. But you're always talking about gaining weight and all that, and you should hit the gym and eat more. Well, you're certainly eating probably poorly cooked food, but going to the gym? Hell no. You're not. Going back to music thing, I guess it's tangentially connected. It makes sense that you're a big fan of Drake. I saw that album, Take Care. And it makes sense that you are indeed a fan of his music. You know why? Because as Kendrick stated in his diss track, you're a master manipulator and a habitual liar as well. You will come up with the most poorest excuses and lies to get yourself out of a situation. You use emotions for validation rather than using it for empathy and care. You manipulate people into trusting you, not realizing that you have a toxic bad side. Look, you gotta leave people alone. I get you want to be extroverted and more outgoing to others, but this does not validate you bringing in 15 different unique people into our apartment room, and that's considered a full friendship. Okay? Why not just stick to a couple of select friends so that you don't lose track of who is your friend and who's not? Okay? That's some advice from me, because I do that, and I'm having a great time hanging out with them. Not only that, you gotta leave them alone. You gotta give them privacy and personal space, okay? You can't just keep barging in there every single day asking, hey, do you want to come visit me, or do you want to hit the gym, or anything like that. You can't do that every day, because it's going to get annoying, and people are going to think you're obsessive, and therefore that's one extra block for them. I'm serious. This has happened to me before, where I had to block a couple people because they wouldn't leave me alone. It gets annoying. Please understand that. And by the way, you're always talking with religion, right? You were talking to me about Catholic Church and all that, and also just you being a Muslim, right? You don't eat pork, and you have beliefs in the Muslim like religion and what they do, right? Well, wouldn't it be surprising to learn that some of the bullshit that you're doing is haram? All of the spontaneous, stupid things that you do is considered taboo, and therefore would get you kicked out of the religion or punished or severely disciplined, you know? Just keep that in mind. I have that against you. And I have eyewitness reports as my evidence, okay? What do you have against me? Huh? Exactly. Oh, and speaking of sexualizing women, dude, lay off the sexual talk, okay? I'm not gonna leave it exclusively to you talking about women in sexual ways, okay? Because similarly, you just can't get sex out of your mouth. Nearly every single discussion that you have might just trace back to sexual pleasure all of a sudden for no good reason. Why? Why does it always have to lead back to that? Lay off the libido, lay off the lotion, and please stop running your lip off about that kind of stuff, okay? Because not everyone is comfortable with it, okay? You gotta understand, not everyone is going to be comfortable with the shit that you talk about. Please understand that. You gotta evaluate the topics so that you don't look like a fucking pervert. Look, I'm not one to judge people. I'm not one to judge their hobbies. I'm not one to judge their physique. No, nothing. I don't judge them at all. And I'm also not one to try to force change onto them, because that would be really bad of me. Okay? I'm gonna let you keep doing what you do. You could keep judging other people and making them feel bad. You could keep trying to act like you're stronger and tougher than others people to support your self-esteem and ego. If ego was a currency, you would be the fucking richest person in the world next to Jeff Bezos. But just to level it off, I just want you to understand, right? Just because something is legal and allowed, that does not support the morality of the action. That's about all I have to say, right? So, unless you just zoned out because you didn't understand all the things that I said because you're kind of dumb, or you just tuned me out because you don't want to hear me, you don't want to hear my voice trying to scold you again, perhaps. I wouldn't blame you, because I would do the same thing when I was 13. You know, try to tune out my parents' words so that I don't have to care about a single thing they said. You're acting like the younger me, and you are the same grade as me. Please take that into consideration, okay? Mature up. But just in case you didn't get my memoir, okay? This is just a little summary of this whole video, okay? I'm going to be gone. I'm going to move out of the apartment. Or perhaps you did. Perhaps you moved out of the apartment out of some crazy situational conundrums or whatever. Maybe you moved out and I didn't. But whatever the case may be, we have to walk our separate ways, because there is no way in hell that this is going to continue. I'm not going to allow it. You always try to manipulate me by saying you treat me like family, therefore you should hand me the things that I'm asking. Well, you don't always get what you want in life, do you? No, not at all. And treating me like family? Yeah, blaring loud music, being a misogynistic loser, being an absolute moron, not knowing what some words mean, being a homophobic idiot who judges people off of like a single thing every single time because you think you're better. Yeah, okay. Perhaps you're probably like a cousin in my fourth family, the most distant you can be from me, where I don't even know you and I probably don't even like you at all if you were even a part of my family. Let's get it straight. You are not a family member. You are not one of those friendly neighbors. All you are is just a stress next door. See you in January.